there, and welcome to the How to Market Your Horse Business podcast. I'm so glad you're joining me here today. As you've likely guessed by now, my name is Denise Alvarez. I get to host you here on the podcast each week. And before we dive into today's topic about niching down in your marketing, I will briefly introduce myself just in case for new friends, and then we'll dive right in. As I said, my name is Denise, and through my business, Storm Lily Marketing, I get to help dream-chasing horse business owners like yourself to see clearly through the marketing overwhelm so you can create a clear message and cohesive plan for your social media, your website, and your email marketing. One that will turn your online audience into your customers. Now, I do that through one-on-one coaching, as well as website design and website copywriting, and then education such as this podcast, and I have some online learning resources as well. My heart, friends, is truly to help you as an equestrian entrepreneur be out in the barn or the arena or behind the lens or at the computer or at your desk making gear, whatever it is that you do in the equine industry. I want you to be able to do more of that. And I believe that marketing is a key part of that. And so here on the podcast, you'll get a mix of step-by-step strategies, essential how-tos, and entrepreneurial mindset shifts that will help you to not only see what's possible for your horse business, but I'm also here to guide you through that process so you can make it happen. And as I said today, we are diving into a question that I get often when I start talking about this idea of getting clear messaging. Most often we start with your audience, and I'm telling people during coaching and when I meet them in person and they start asking me about their marketing, often my advice is you need to get clear on who it is you're really serving. Who is that best fit audience? Who are the people you are best suited to serve? And the ones that you love to work with and they love to work with you. They love to come in and buy from you. Who are those people? And so the question becomes, okay, Denise, how much do I actually need to niche down in my marketing? In other words, what they're saying is, Denise, if I niche down, then I'm afraid I won't reach enough people. I want to grow, and so don't I need to be talking to more people instead of niching down? That's what we often think. And so I want to dive into that on this episode. Now, let me just say, if your marketing is working for you, the way you are doing it is effective, you're meeting your goals, you're getting the right people in the door, you love your clients and customers, and you have built a waiting list, then that's awesome. I'm so happy for you. But most likely, if you're listening to this episode, it's because your marketing could be more effective. You're either not getting leads or subscribers or clients and customers, or you're getting them, but they aren't the people that you love to work with. They're not the ones that you're really best suited to help. And so they either don't stick around or you kind of wish they would leave because it's not exactly a great experience. And so to answer this question about niching down with your marketing, I want to first look at what you're likely doing that's not working, which is not niching down, right? Which is the opposite. What you're doing in your marketing is talking to everyone when it comes to your messaging, especially. For example, and these are ones that I have actually seen, okay? The solution for all horses and all people. That was a tagline. Another one that I saw was, we are the premier membership for all people and all horses. Another one was, I help every horse and rider find their true partnership. Now, hopefully you can hear what I'm hearing as a marketer when I see that. It clearly is trying to catch everybody. All horses, all people. That was in two of them. Every horse and every rider. Now, what typically is happening in this is a fear of missing out. If I don't say that I help everyone, then I'm not going to get everyone's attention. And let me just say this. I don't know what it is that you do. I know that I have body workers that are listening to this podcast. I've met you. I know that there are photographers. I know there are trainers. There are product makers. There are service providers. And I believe that for many of you, what you have to offer could absolutely benefit every rider and every horse. I think that's possible. If they applied what you're saying, if they were all in and they followed your principles, I believe that. But that doesn't mean that every horse and every rider that lands on your business's Instagram profile or Facebook page is actually your best fit customer. It doesn't mean they're actually going to buy. Doesn't mean they're going to apply what they're learning. And it doesn't mean that you're going to be able to best help them. The reality is, when it comes to your marketing, effectively, you cannot try to talk to everyone because you aren't for everyone. Even if what you have to offer could help them, your training style may not be a fit for them. Your teaching style, your style of photography, the way that you work with customers and clients, your goals, your processes, they are not for everyone. They're a fit for a certain group of people, and they're not a fit for others, and that's okay. Now, when it comes to when it comes to niching down, it's actually not just demographics, okay? So first, we've identified that you aren't for everyone. I want you to rest on that for a minute and be okay with that. And then if you're going, okay, well then who am I for? Surely I just need to dive into identifying the breed, the discipline, our location, right? That's often where people go when they think about niching down. And that can absolutely and should absolutely be a part of how you do that. What I want for you when it comes to your messaging is to go deeper than that, okay? If you want to attract people that you love to work with, then you're going to use your marketing and your messaging to pre-qualify them by talking about your methods, your beliefs, talking about their hopes, their dreams, their desires, and their problems. And when you marry those things together, it makes up, essentially, in simple terms, your best fit audience. And so when it comes to your marketing, I want you to hone in on those things that do set you apart. Like we just talked about, your style, your philosophy, it's different than others. It's going to attract some people to you, and it's going to repel some people, and that's okay too. There are things that make your prospects, your potential clients and customers say, he's for me, she's for me, that's the one, okay? Or they may be thinking, that's the saddle for me, that's the whatever, right? That's the photographer, that's the horse for me, that's whatever it might be, that's the program for me. There are things that set you apart and make them say that. And then in addition to that, there are things that in your marketing, when you do it well, make them say, that's me. He's talking to me. She's talking to me. That marketing is so effective because I feel like they just got in my head. Okay. And when you do that well, that's so much more than just niching down, right? That's really getting clear on who your person is. And when you talk to them well, then those right people are going to hear that. And so it goes deeper than demographics. It goes deeper than just the discipline. All right. So I want to give you a very practical exercise that you can apply this. You know, my heart here on the podcast is practical information that you can apply in your horse business. And so here's what I want you to do. Grab a piece of paper, pull out the notes on your phone, and first think about that person that you want to duplicate, that customer that you love, that you want to duplicate. And then I have some questions for you. 2 specific fill in the blank questions, okay? Keeping that person in mind, I want you to answer, and let me say this, keeping that person in mind and keeping your business, or if you want to take it deeper, you can think about a specific program or a specific service in your business, okay? Or you can just think about your business as a whole, all right? So I want you to answer this. XYZ program, that's you, okay? That's the blank, that's your name, okay? So whatever your business name is or your program name is, write that down. Is for. And then I want you to write 3 or 4 bullet points. Who would you say your program is for? If you and I are sitting across the table, we're having lunch together, and I'm saying, tell me about what you do. Who do you love to work with? Tell me what it is that you do. Then you would be able to say to me, oh man, I do this. And then I say, okay, who's it really for? If I wanted to be able to send someone your way, who would I send? Then you're going to describe who's the best case scenario of the person that's going to buy your product, that's going to pay for your services, going to pay to be a member of your program. Okay, 3 or 4 bullet points. And then we're going to take it a step further. The next line I want you to write is your business name or your program name. Okay, XYZ program is not for. And then I want you to write 3 or 4 bullet points. Who are you not for? Sometimes you can be really clear on who you're for and you haven't really thought about, okay, who's not the right fit for this program? Because like I said, you maybe have something that could help every horse, but you need the horse owner. So I'll give you a super practical. Say you have something that is very health and wellness oriented. Okay. It's very much about natural medicines, functional medicines, right? Doing things the natural way. Then obviously your program is not for the person who is going to go, who is going to, this would be a brainstorming moment. Okay. This isn't going to be beautiful verbiage, but it's not for the person who 100% believes that modern day medicine is the way to go for their horse and their person. That's not your person. And that's okay. Your job isn't to convince people that are not your people that they should be your people. Okay. All right. So who is it for? Who is it not for? Now, another way that you could do this exercise is to add the word if. XYZ program, or your business name, is for you if. All right, I'm sorry, we're adding two words. For you if. Okay, so imagine you're actually sitting across the table, not from me, but from that person you're talking to that wants to know about your products and their services. Could you clearly tell them, this program is for you if? Okay. And then this program is not for you if, and then fill in the blanks with 3 or 4 bullet points. Okay. Now you're welcome to press pause on this podcast and go ahead and do this exercise or do it afterwards, but I want you to do it. Now I want to give you a real life example. I gave you one with the natural medicines, but I'm going to give you one with the specific bullet points that I've already created. And this is from the messaging I use to promote my Take the Reins coaching program. On the landing page, on the page where you go to apply for the program, it's very clear who it's for and who it's not. Now, let me tell you a little bit about this journey, okay? Because I can speak to this because I've been where you are, where I thought that I needed to speak very broadly. And so first, I for sure was small business owners. And some of you have heard that story. And then I narrowed it down and said, okay, the equine industry is where I'm best suited to serve and it lights me up. And so I'm going to help horse business owners. Very general when you think about it, right? There are lots of horse business owners. So I narrowed it down a little bit because it's the word owner, right? I'm not working with big brands. I'm working with people who are the owner of their business. And so then I started to think, I need to get a little bit deeper because even more than that, really what I do is best suited for equestrian entrepreneurs in the horse space. I know the word equestrian, sometimes Western discipline people don't use it as much. And so I try to go both ways with that. If you've ever noticed that in my marketing, that's why. Because most people in the Western space aren't going to call themselves an equestrian entrepreneur, but they would say that they are an entrepreneur. They just use different verbiage. But the point is that word entrepreneur, because for a long time, I hesitated to use that word in my marketing. I was afraid that people were not identifying as that. And then I was really repelling, as I talked to you about. But what I learned through working with a number of clients that would come in the door is that really by not naming entrepreneur, I wasn't getting the person who is taking their business seriously. Okay. I wasn't getting the person that was ready to invest in coaching, invest in their website because they were embracing their role as an entrepreneur in the equine space. And so when I changed my messaging to equestrian entrepreneurs, then I started to connect with more of the right people, the people that were saying, yes, this is a business to me. I want to grow my horse business and I'm ready to own that role of entrepreneur. And so let me give you an example of what this looks like on a super practical level for Take the Reins. Take the Reins is for equestrian entrepreneurs who have a God-given vision for your business. You know where you want to go. You just need a leg up to get your marketing in line with your goals. Take the Reins is for dedicated equestrian entrepreneurs who are ready to trade time staring at your phone, trying to figure out what to say on social media for a step-by-step plan. You want to know what to say and how to say it to both get new followers and turn those followers into customers. Take the Reins is for growth-oriented equestrian entrepreneurs who take action because you know where you're going and you're willing to do what it takes to get you there. And lastly, Take the Reins is for equestrian entrepreneurs who prioritize giving your customers a high-quality experience. You care about their journey with you, from first interaction on social to your website contact form to getting your emails in their inbox. Now, hopefully you can see how I used some words very intentionally to qualify my leads for Take the Reins, to get the right people in the door. That's all it means when I'm saying qualify your leads. It's get the right people in the door. Now, therefore, who is Take the Reins not for? Take the Reins is not for people who believe social media is all you need to market your equine business. You're okay renting space online and putting all your trust in the ever-changing algorithm instead of owning your customer's experience. Take the Reins is not for people that have a track record of FTI, failure to implement. If you tend to consume information more than actually doing the work, this is not for you. Take the Reins is not for people who let your fear of tech keep you from actually working on your equestrian business. I promise to keep it simple, but if Google Docs or Word are too much to handle, this isn't the program for you. And Take the Reins is not for people still in the ideation phase of your horse business. If you don't have an existing business or offer created, you're not quite ready for Take the Reins. Okay, I hope by hearing those examples, you can see how I'm leaning into the stage and age and season of business, the mentality that they have around aspects of their marketing to help them understand if this is the program for them. There's no shame. When you tell somebody this isn't for you, there's no shame. What actually it does is it builds trust. When you're willing to say this program may not be for you right now, then people actually build trust because they say, wow, he's not just after my money. They really care about me and investing in the right places. And so this not for section can be monumental. Okay, again, this is your turn. Okay, this is practical homework. I want you to take those fill in the blanks and I want you to do the work. So when you do, whether you pause it now or do it at the end of this episode, share it to your stories and tag me. Use it as a way in your marketing to really hone in on your audience. Ask people if they identify with those. Or if you want, send me a screenshot as a message or send me an email. I would love to see the work that you've done to get clarity on who you're for and who you're not for. Okay, now that you have an understanding of why it's necessary to niche down in your marketing, I want to amplify that understanding by diving into 3 benefits of niching down in your equestrian marketing. All right. Benefit number 1, when you niche down, you have connected messaging. As you can see from the example above that I gave you, the more specific that you can get with identifying your best fit audience's problems, desires, frustrations, their ideal solutions, the more you can do that, the more connected they will feel to you as the solution to their problem. For example, I was at Equine Affair recently and I visited with a trainer there who's very much against force and fear as a means to training a horse. And I know many of you would say, well, yeah, isn't everybody? But that's not really true. I'm sure if you stop and think about that, you know trainers who that's not their philosophy. And this is his. It makes him stand apart. And so we kind of had a mini coaching session as we were talking about his business, and he'd asked a couple questions about marketing, and I love to dive in and strategize those things. I encouraged him to lean into finding out how his audience really feels about methods that use force and fear when it comes to horse training. What are their gut feelings that they've experienced? What are the things that they have thought, but maybe haven't said out loud to very many people, but they've said it to him because he's been in a safe place because he's said, I get that. Then can he use that in his marketing to really clearly connect with those people? Using those feeling words in his marketing. He is for people that have always had that gut feeling that there had to be a better way. Right? That he can build a connection and trust with his right fit audience. And he also is big on the practical side of things, really teaching people how it applies in their everyday riding. And so he can lean into that and talk about the wins that people want to experience. And as he uses that in his marketing, he's going to connect with those people that he is a right fit for. All right, so connected messaging is your first benefit of niching down. The second benefit, qualified leads. I hinted at this a little bit ago. In other words, you can say goodbye to tire kickers the more specific you can be in your messaging. Are you for cowboys? Are you for cowgirls? Are you for hunter jumpers? Are you for dressage riders? Are you for trail riders? Horse enthusiasts? Are you for amateurs? Are you for professionals? Right? There's so many ways that you can use your messaging to clarify and qualify for your leads. And when you do that, you're getting the right people in the door from the get-go. So let me give you an example of how this can help you. I had a client who said once she finally did we did a website together. I did the copywriting and the design. After that, she said the number of questions that she was getting from people on Messenger went down. The questions that were, and here, this is not leads. These are questions that people were asking because the answers weren't on her website or it wasn't clear from her website. And so people were asking her questions when they weren't really that interested in the program. They just wanted to get a few questions answered and then they never came back around. It was wasting her time. But when we got her website messaging very clear, they could quickly go there and they could see the answers to their questions. And then the tire kickers were out the door, and the people who were serious and ready to become clients and customers, they were the ones that were sending her messages. And then she actually got an ROI from that. You want your website visitors and your social media followers to be able to clearly identify if they're a fit for your program, your products, or your services based on the content they see from you. That includes website copy. It includes images on your website. It includes images and content on your social media as well. That is your opportunity to qualify your leads. All right, the third benefit of niching down in your equestrian marketing is effective channels or platforms. Essentially, you get to find out where's the right place to hang out and stay there. So what I want you to embrace is that you get to say goodbye to trying to be everywhere all the time. What do you think is best? Be on every platform and give 10% effort, but at least you have a profile, right? Or is it better to have one platform where you're giving 110% effort and you're fully present, you're consistent, you're growing, you're engaging, you're exploring new methods and tools? Raise your hand if you've ever felt overwhelmed because you feel like you're expected to be in all the places all the time. Trying to be everywhere when it comes to marketing your horse business is a sure way to burn out and quitting before you get started. On the flip side, when you are clear on your audience and you know where to find them, then you can focus your efforts in the right place. The best strategy for your intentional marketing is to pick a platform, ideally where you're most likely to find more of your right people and also where you're willing to spend some time and invest your time in, and then go all in there. If you want to grow your equine business, eventually, yes, you're going to be on multiple platforms. I'm not saying that people are only on one platform and so you need to find where they are because they're not anywhere else. But what I am saying is that if you're trying to be everywhere all the time, when you're trying to make your marketing a priority, when you're going to start taking seriously how you market your horse business, then if you don't focus on one platform, your effectiveness will be watered down and you will be burned out. Let me give you, again, this episode is all about the real life practical examples. I want to give you some examples. These are not clients of mine. These are just public facing numbers and people that I pulled so that you can see what I mean. If you are in the English world, you may know Matt Harneke. He's a writer, a model, an influencer, founder of Horse World TV, and he is very, very active on YouTube and Instagram. However, as of the recording of this episode, I actually couldn't even get a link to Facebook, to his Facebook page. Previous numbers I had pulled, I'll give you those. But even right now, if you go to his website, you're going to get a link to YouTube and Instagram, and that's it. So he's got almost 500,000 followers or subscribers, I should say, on YouTube. He's got 743,000 on Instagram. But on Facebook, as of last year, I think was the last time I pulled out these numbers to give an example to somebody, and it was like 16,000. But like I said, right now, you can't even find a Facebook at this moment. I couldn't even find a link to his Facebook page. So he's obviously focusing his efforts on where he's getting a return and not trying to be everywhere. Another example is Bronx and Donks. If you've heard of them, they have a YouTube channel, which is where they started out, and it's where their highest numbers are. I'll be honest, I grabbed these numbers about a year ago, so they may be off by a little bit, but just look at it as an example, okay? 354,000 followers on YouTube or subscribers on YouTube. 128,000 on Instagram and 96,000 on Facebook. So it's very clear where they're spending their time and their efforts and their energy, right? It doesn't mean their people are not on Facebook. It's just not where they're putting their energy into. And I've got one last for you, Devin out west. If you guys don't follow her on Instagram, I love her. She's very genuine. I guess you would call her an influencer right now. But what I want you to see is the numbers. And if you look on YouTube, okay, she's like got nothing, 500 subscribers, and she has hardly any content on there at all. But on Instagram, she's almost at 200,000 followers, and she's very active, very engaged, has a very engaged audience, and I couldn't find her Facebook page again. So I don't know if Facebook is having an issue. I kept finding a link to get to Devin Out West on Facebook, but every time I would try it, it would say it couldn't show me the content. So I can't give you a number there, but I can tell you just by looking at YouTube and Instagram where she's focusing her efforts. And so what I want for you when you hear these numbers is to receive permission that you've been looking for to not be in all the places to grow your horse business. When you know who you are for, you are free to focus on one or two platforms and then do them well. And when you do that, you will connect with even more of your best fit audience. And on top of that, you're also free to do more of what you've loved to do in the equine industry. And that's why I'm so passionate about helping you to get that clarity and get a strategy in place for your marketing through my one-on-one coaching program, Take the Reins. As I shared with you, it's not for everyone, but for those of you who are listening thinking it might be for you, this is exactly why the first 2 sessions we spend together, we are focused on getting very clear on your people and your promise and your messaging. I'll call it the 3 Ps. The last one was not a P, but your people, your promise, and your proclamation. We're very focused on getting clear in that. And then from there, the rest of our time together with your website, social media, and email marketing, it is guided by those first 2 sessions. I ask hard, uncomfortable questions in those first 2 weeks that lead us to the breakthrough and help you to be able to say, yes, this is who I'm for. This is who I really love to work with. And for you to be able to put words to it. Some of you are saying, I know who I'm for. I just don't know how to describe it well. And we'll work through some exercises together to do that. I use my marketing experience of, crazily enough, 20 years in the marketing industry, copywriting experience, equestrian knowledge. I'm a horse person like you, so I get you on so many levels. And so my goal is to get you through that lack of clarity in your marketing that's been keeping you stuck so that you have a plan to follow. But first things first, you have to know who you're for. And yes, that is going to require you to niche down. Now, if you'd like to learn more about Take the Reins, you've heard who it's for, who it's not for. And if you fall into that first group and you're saying that might be for me, I'd love to visit with you. You can start with an application. And the reason I do that is it gives me a chance to make sure that we're a fit for one another. And we get on a Zoom call together so that we can really connect. I can hear your goals and your plans. I can answer all of your questions about the program and talk about what's working in your marketing. And if it's a go, we get that first coaching call on the books immediately so we can start out. So you can head to stormlily.com/reins and check out more of what's included and who it's for, who it's not for. Get the link to apply. But if you're not ready for one-on-one coaching, please know these podcast episodes can still help you. I get notes all the time from people that say, Denise, thank you for the podcast. I'm applying what I'm learning, and this is how it's helping me. So please know the podcast is here as a resource to help you. And then I also have a new free resource that I want you to get that's going to break down this concept of clear messaging even more, give you space to apply what you're learning, and give you additional steps so that you can successfully market your horse business, even if you get horses more than marketing. So if you go to stormlily.com/success, you can go grab that free guide at any time, and it will give you the steps to get started. Now, of course, I should tell you the episode show notes are going to have all these links for you and a highlight of this conversation. So if you want the questions I was asking you earlier, just head to stormlily.com/155 for episode 155. And there I'll provide for you the links for Take the Reins, the link for Take the Reins, the link for the free success guide, and highlights from today's episode in case you were not at a place where you could take notes. As I told you in the very beginning, friends, my goal here on the podcast is to give you practical, actionable insights and strategies so that you can do more of what you love in the equine industry. And so if you've been listening and you've thought of a friend in the industry who should listen to this episode, who you've had this conversation with about niching down and clarifying your messaging or being overwhelmed with marketing, then I would love if you would share this episode with them. Grab the share link, send it to them, let them know this is a free resource available for anyone in the equine industry who's wanting help to market the horse business well. All right, friends, I'm so grateful you're here. If you would do me a favor and leave a review if you're listening on Apple Podcast, what that does is just tells Apple that people are listening, people are enjoying it, and they should show it to more people that are listening to other horse-related podcast episodes. So your review will just help to get the podcast in front of more people. But either way, I'm so grateful you're here. I'm so cheering you on in your horse business, and I hope you'll continue to join me here on the podcast. Stay subscribed as I continue to bring you actionable, practical, and encouraging help right here on the podcast. Have an amazing day.